Good afternoon. It is time to lighten up. I, it's too bad we don't have a lighten up song, because that way we can say it's, how about like, this light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Kind of lightening up. Speaking of lightening up, if you've never been to this video series before, just know that it is a time to get together and sit down in the afternoon and kind of relax and have a good day. I'm sorry I'm late today. I have something in my eye and I can't see anything. I've tried eye drops. I don't know if we're going to make it all the way through today or not, but I had to be here. It's our time together. And as I said, if you are new to this video series, sit back, kick back. If you like what you see, you can go to YouTube and search Life on the Light. That's Lite, Light side, Alicia Leslie, and up it will come with all the videos we've done. So I hope I see you there. Always feel free to subscribe. And if you subscribe, you will never miss a video because it will alert you that we have posted one. All righty. Well, today is Tuesday, and today is Tuesday, April 6th. Okay. We're going to start with the National Day calendar, which we is our little tradition we started ourselves. And look at what today is. Okay. Today is National Sorry Charlie Day. And what it is it's a day to take a new look at rejection. You know the tuna commercials? Is it what is it? What kind of Starkist tuna. And they're always saying, nope, Charlie tuna's not good enough. But Charlie tuna never gives up. So that's what a piece of it is about rejection, and that we want to learn to overcome. So that's what Sorry Charlie Day is all about. So we've all been rejected at one time or another. So let's remember it's not always a bad thing. In Unity, we have a wonderful saying, an affirmation that states rejection is God's protection. So very often, being rejected, that goes right along with be careful what you ask for, you may get it. And if you get it, you may regret it. Okay, so that's what we are looking at that. It is also, and some of the days have so many days. They don't impress me, but I already wrote this down, so I'll just share with you. It is New Beer's Eve Day. So you see, tomorrow is National Beer Day. So some smarty pants decided to make the day before National New Beer's Day, New Beer's Eve Day. So, but it's there, so I thought I'd share it. One that is not quite on the light side, but sometimes we need to shine light on things, and that is SAAM Day of Action. SAAM stands for Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and it provides you can look it up and get all kinds of tools and resources to use if you or someone is being or has been sexually assaulted. Unfortunately, it's too common. And one of the things that we don't realize is that sexual assault is usually not about sex, it's about power. So, and it's a taboo subject. A lot of people don't like to talk about it. Joyce Meyer talks about it a lot, and because she feels it's real important to let people know if you've been sexually assaulted or molested, that doesn't diminish who you are, that you are still God's child, that you still have value. So we want to keep that in mind. Um, and the idea behind it is to teach and help change the societal view and to end sexual violence against women. So it's a meaningful day and we shine the light on it. And that's the best thing we can do to lighten that up. And maybe one day that burden will be taken off of people because it won't happen. It is National Employee Benefits Day. Boy, I'll tell you, a lot of people get no benefits with their job. So if you have a job with benefits, you want to be very grateful for that. And also to encourage employers to provide those benefits for their employees. I remember when I got the job at the bank when I first moved back to Connecticut, and it was like, oh my God, look at these perks. So that was pretty interesting. It is Student Athlete Day. Now, if you're going, oh, big poo poo deal, the thing is, Student Athlete Day celebrates students who have excelled in academics and athletics. So it's someone that has got the time to put into their sport, and yet they do not neglect the academics that they are really there to take advantage of, right? I hardly, starting tomorrow, I'm not going to mention the ones I don't want to mention, but I had already written it down, so here we are. Um, National Caramel Popcorn Day. Now, you see, yesterday was National Caramel Day, and caramel popcorn was included. So I put it here because it was on the calendar, but I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to make it just the best days. We're going to talk about the best days. And who knows, maybe this year's best day will be different next year, right? Okay. It is also National Tartan Day. No, tartan is not a sauce that you have with fish. Tartan Day is it's honoring Scottish heritage, which I have. I'm very proudly German, Scotch, Irish, and Polish. Got a good mix going there. But the tartan part, the Scottish part, was my grandfather's last name is Fraser, and so the Frasers have that's also what they call the pattern of the kilt that they wear and the little shawl that they wear across their chest. Well, it probably has a name, but I don't know what it is. But they all have patterns. You've seen Black Watch plaid and stuff like that. They're all plaids, and each plaid is significant to that name. So I have seen the Fraser plaid before, long time ago. Haven't seen it just because remember me, I'm minimalizing. I'm not getting extra things just because they might represent my name. But what you don't know, very interesting trivia about this. 33 of 43 presidents had some Scottish ancestry. How do you like that? 33 out of 43. I think those are pretty amazing statistics. And this is funny because we just talked about it the other day. Today is National Library Workers Day. Remember when we talked about Library Week? Okay. So, and I shared with you then that there was a time when I wanted to be a librarian. Of course, the silence would have killed me. I couldn't possibly keep my voice down and everything. As a matter of fact, I was recording today. Today is the day that I had an appointment. I'm recording my book, The Secret of Sweetwater Stream, and I'm reading it, and all of a sudden, one of the characters like bursts out like this. The guy who's at the controls like, next time, could you like number one kind of warn me, and number two, just step back from the mic when you're gonna give it a spike like that. So I did, and I Hopefully I'll remember it next week. Yeah, here's a really it's a good news, bad news thing, okay? It is National Teflon Day. Now, for years and years and years, and up to today, I did not want any Teflon coated cookware because I was told it could be bad for your health. Well, they say no, it's not bad for your health. On the other hand, it's bad for the environment. So, you know what? Whereas I didn't eat from Teflon pots and pans and stuff like that earlier, um, before today, now that I know that the eating from a Teflon pan will not hurt you, but I'm not going to go to Teflon because it's bad for the environment, especially birds and what they pick up when they're eating. So I'm not going to go with Teflon Day. And this is not a day, but I was so excited when I heard it. So excited. Um, what's the name? Duracell. You know the little coin batteries, the little tiny batteries that you put into watches and little flashlights and stuff like that? Well, thousands of kids put them in their mouth and ingest them every year. Might not seem like it's dangerous, but it is, especially if they get a bunch of them, if they have four or five and they stick together and they can't get through the intestines right because they're magnetic. Kids have died from that. Well, the Duracell battery company has started coating the batteries with a bitter taste. So if a kid picks up one of those little button batteries and puts it in their mouth, they're probably going to be spitting it out right away. So I say, bravo. You see, that's more of that out of the box thinking. This is what it's all about. If we're talking about lightening up, let's imagine a heavy box that is, on top of us, like we're in it and the lid's down and it's all heavy and I can't get out. And think about lightening up, breaking through the top of that box into freedom and a more wide thought patterns and possibilities of the way things can happen for good. There are unlimited divine ideas out in the universe, and they come to us when we call them. How do we call a divine idea? Generally, we would look at a problem and we would say, what could fix that problem? Kids putting batteries in their mouth? Why don't we make them so vile tasting they'll spit them right out? Therefore, they won't swallow them and therefore they won't put their lives at risk. All righty. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I have a thing. Oh, yeah. Remember when I said it's April 6th? Something was supposed to happen yesterday by midnight. And I don't know if any of you remember, but it was the day that the writing competition that I signed up for, that was the day for the results to come out. And they didn't. So they say the results will be out tonight by midnight. I'm not like hanging on, I know that there's a lot of writers out there better than me, which does not take away the value of my own writing, because I think I write pretty good stuff. It may not have big words and multi-syllables. They may be sweet stories with a little bit of ups and downs, but not dramatic adventures or horrors. I happen to write heart candy. And it's a great way to sit back and enjoy a book and read it. Well, that's my novels, you know. So, yeah, so I won't know until tomorrow. Well, it's about 11:59 tonight, whether I am in the running for the next level or whether it's thank you very much, no thanks. I don't care. I told you. I already won because I finished the project. When we finish a project, we win. And speaking of projects, how are you doing with the 30-day challenge. Have you given up yet? Mm, I haven't. I got to tell you, remember yesterday when I did all that running around and I dropped off the thing at Goodwill, the bag of stuff, and then the day before I brought stuff for my nephew's little boy. There were like highlights magazines that I share with Tristan and then pass them on. And so I was so happy because I passed on a bunch of highlights to his family and a couple of kids' storybooks, which the one I couldn't get rid of. I just couldn't get rid of Stella Luna. That is when I love the story. I love the illustrations are so beautiful. If you've never seen Stella Luna, go over to the bookstore and grab yourself one. You'll want to own it. You don't want to. That's one that's not going anywhere. Okay, and that happens. So back on today. Today is the day we talk about food. Yeah. And I wanted to show off the lovely new cookbook that I got. And now understand, I've let go of a couple $100. So taking one in that you're going to use, it's a cookbook, okay? So you can get stuff. You just can't get more stuff than you need or will use. So this is so beautiful. Look at that. There is just gorgeous, gorgeous images and the recipes. And these are people's stars. They are the ones in the family who have a recipe and everyone goes, oh my God, that is so wonderful. Can you share that? I might have told you this before, but um, many, many years ago, I was bowling on the league that I was belonged to in where is it in Virginia, and they had a potluck. No, it was Texas. Not that that matters to you. But anyway, they had beautiful broccoli salad, and it had little orange, what are those yellow, golden raisins in it, broccoli and other stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so delicious. And I went to the lady who made the recipe and I said, oh, could I please have your recipe? And she said, no, family secret. And I'm like, seriously? Come on. Are you so limiting your mind that you can't come up with another spectacular recipe? What do you think? I'm going to put it on TV, make a best-selling recipe book out of your recipe and make $1 million for it. I just wanted the recipe, but I didn't care because I recreated it on my own anyway, and I tweaked it so it was what I wanted. Sharing recipes is it's like circulation. We just keep the energy of God going around, and the more we send it out, the more good comes back to us. So anyway, the other thing I wanted to talk about with the food, I decided to use my new cookbook from Cheryl's church. Cheryl, if you get a chance, could you pop an answer to this if you still have copies available? And if I can get their information and contact you if you want. It's called All People's Cookbook Recipes from the Heart, a collection of recipes by Southwick Community Episcopal Church in Southwick, Massachusetts. And you don't want to be sending out you don't want to be printing copies of it and sending it out because it's copyrighted. And you remember, we honor copyright because one day it could be our book that we're talking about, right? Okay. So when we're talking about food today, I wanted to talk about all those times that you don't actually have everything you need for a recipe. Or if you make a recipe and it's like, something's not right here. It needs something about how to figure out what it is that it needs. All right. Um, so I wanted to start with uh, a recipe from Grandma Rainbow and Nana um, for homemade white gravy. And it's really very simple. I mean, it calls for some butter and flour, milk, or organic chicken broth or chicken bone broth, heavy cream, and salt and pepper to taste. So first of all, that's your basic recipe, your basic ingredients. If you don't have something, can it be substituted? Of course, Google's going to be your buddy there, but once you really get a knack for it, it's easy to figure it out yourself. So, of course, calls for 2 tablespoons of butter. You don't have butter, what are you going to use? Margarine. What are you going to use? If you don't have margarine or butter, cooking oil, you can cross use these things. Sometimes with not your perfectly desired results, but very often with 2 tablespoons of all purpose flour. So if you don't have all purpose flour, I don't know, you might be able to use cake flour, but that's got a rising element in it. You may want to make sure there's no other choice before you do that. 2 cups of milk or organic chicken broth or chicken bone broth. Those things you can get at the grocery store, the broth. You can borrow from a neighbor, but if you're going to borrow, remember, give it back. Give the item back and give it back with a little something to bless the situation that allowed you to borrow it. Calls for a quarter of a cup of heavy cream. Now, when I read a quarter of a cup of heavy cream, my stomach turns over. I figure, oh no, that's heavy. But there are other things you can do. You can easily use a quarter cup of evaporated milk, uh, probably real milk, I'm not sure. But there are other things you can use to cut the calories back down and still enjoy the recipe. So, no heavy cream. I use evaporated milk. I always use evaporated milk because the cream is way too high fat for me. Um, the chicken broth or bone broth, well, we have vegetable broth, of course. You can make broth. And one of the best ways to make broth is to chop up some celery and carrots and onions and put them in the oven in like a 375, 400 degree oven. And you close it up there for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. Keep opening it till you see it's cooked and mushy and browning, not burned, browning. And then you take that and you take it out and you add water to it, and you have come up with an actual frothy, saucy thing. Keep that in mind. If you got the turkey neck or chump something, throw that in there as well. Okay, so this just goes to show that you have got like one thing you don't want to do is this calls for 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. You can substitute it with a light style of uh a light style of Lord, I can't think of it right this second. A whole wheat flour, but light. In other words, it's a lesser percentage of whole grain in it because it doesn't work. I cracked up my niece Yvonne, uh, who is my nephew whose house I went to for Easter. She made popovers. She had a hankering to make popovers. Okay, so she's thinking about it. Oh, that'd be perfect for Easter morning. And she went out and she got the special little cast iron pan to make the popovers and everything. Made them perfectly, but she used whole wheat flour instead of white flour. Put everything together, put them in the little cups, put it in the oven. Later on, they come out. They did not pop. They're non popovers. They were a tad bit heavy, as a matter of fact. Not everything substitutes. This is why, if you're going to have company, don't ever practice with a new recipe. You practice with the recipe a week before they come. So if you want to use it, you can tweak it so that it works for you. All right. So well, I'm going to be sharing more and more tips on how to use things. And um, if anybody wants to like challenge me a little, I would invite you to go to your refrigerator and pretend that you are going to make lunch, dinner, whatever. And as you look in the fridge, pick out 3 to 5 items in your refrigerator that you didn't think could be put together to make something. I mean, don't get crazy and make this a death challenge or anything. Just figure out a few things like all I have is this and this and this. And see what I can come up with. You can make that my challenge. Your challenge is to come up with items. My challenge is to tell you what to do with them. All righty. And we have 5 minutes left. I'm so excited because guess what? We got a food trivia game. But the only way I can do this is by going to another page. So you will see me here, but I'm not going to see me here. I'm going to be on a game page. So I'm going to kind of like pick random questions. You don't have to underline them or make a not today. We're just going to look at the questions and see what your answers will be. We will do, I don't know, 5 to 10, something like that. All right, so I start at the top, and I don't want to start with a really hard one. What is the national spirit of America? The spirit, of course, would be a an alcoholic beverage. So, what would you say is the national spirit or liquor of America? All right. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to think about that. Okay, the national liquor of America, the national spirit of America is bourbon. Mm-mm-mm. Pretty yummy it is. Fix it up just right. Okay, here's an interesting one. Uh, in 1963, which state sold the first fried dill pickle? What say you say? What's a fried dill pickle? It's breaded and it's drained and then it's breaded and then it's tossed into the oil and they're so good with ranch dressing. Okay, so which state sold the first dried fried dill pickle? That'd be Arkansas. How's that for a surprise? And again, they're the same guys that have the um oh god, the boiled peanuts. Those are quite a piece of work too. Okay, here's a little tricky one. What is the national dish of Germany? What would you say the national dish of Germany is? Now, you're probably tempted to not pay attention. Um, uh, to what I'm going to tell you is I'm going to tell you one thing, and you're going to go, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Hopefully, in the end, it will. So, what is the national dish of Germany? Because it surprised me when it came up. It's pot roast. But that's really what it really is generally is sauerbraten, and it is a pot roast, but the pot roast has been marinated, so it's got a tangy it's a falling apart, you cook it till it falls apart thing, but it's got a tangy taste that has seeped into the meat. Now, I remember that from 40 some odd years ago since I haven't eaten meat in that long, but sauerbraten was one of the things that I liked. Okay, now this one's interesting. What is an Indian dish but the national dish of England? Now, what Indian dish do you think would be the national dish of England? And the answer is chicken tikka masala. That's a lot of people love that one. Well, I think that was fun. We did a few for today. Maybe another day we'll do some more. But in the meantime, it's actually, where are you? I lost me. Did I close me out? No, I know I'm there somewhere. Here I am. There I am. Okay. Well, it's time. I gotta go. And I made it all the way through, ouchie eye and all. It is ouchie. Oh, and I've tried rinsing it out, guys. I don't know what else to say. So have a wonderful today, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a bright, beautiful, better than average day. Okay? Bye. Ah.